behind. They're all fired up. What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. If we do that, we'll be all right.
Happy Monday, everybody. I don't know what's on the side of the screen, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to roll with it. Welcome to Football Universities. This is where we talk anything, everything football. We're going to start with a different curveball today. We're going to do something a lot different. We're going to start with the NFL, Bama Free Agency right now. Then we're going to get into board recruiting, spring ball recap. We're going to get it rocking and rolling for you guys. So hope all is well for everybody out there. Hope y'all had a great week. Just enjoying it. Glad to have you back. I see the chat is going crazy. I'm trying to show the chat. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Okay, anyway, so let's get some of the comments. Shouts out to Lori Caddell. She says RTR rise up. Listen, we're going to start always RTR. We find a way to bring it back to Alabama. That's what we do here on Football University. Thanks for joining me, all you people out there, friends, family, foes, enemies. You know how it is. We rocking and rolling here at Football University. RTR, be jamming. So, Roll Tide, Stephen Hicks in the student section, rolling Jeff Stapleton in the student section. So, like I said, guys, we're gonna kind of we're gonna start with the NFL, which is crazy. But since we said Roll Tide roll, we gotta start with Jeff Stapleton's comment. He said DeBoer is killing it on the recruiting trail. He is. I mean, a lot of people doubted DeBoer. A lot of people were saying, we're in the South, the deep South down here in Alabama, and we take our football serious. And listen, a lot of fans were kind of wondering, how is he going to handle recruiting in the South? Him being up north guy, not having the ties to the Southeast. But listen, DeBoer's been rocking and rolling. He's a winner. He's like Coach Bear Bryant said, he's been nothing but a winner. This guy has won everywhere. He's been so successful. His winning percentage is just bananas. But yeah, he's been making some headway with some recruits lately. Just looking at how he's just looking at how he's dealing with a few recruits today. He got the big recruit out of Selma, Derek Smith. The most important recruit in this past 2024 class, Ryan Williams, being able to get him to flip after he decommitted from the not Auburn Tigers, but from Alabama. Sorry, forgive me for saying Auburn. So Ryan Williams was huge. He solidified the rest of that 24 class, but you're looking at what he's doing with the 25 class. He got Antonio Coleman, D lineman, to flip to Alabama. He got who else? He got the big Derek Smith, the big time athlete out of Southside Selma, 4-star guy. He got another 4-star athlete out of DC. So the recruiting trail is rocking and rolling. And I think what's making DeBoer so successful is just the sports staff. You know, he was able to retain Freddie Rhodes Gillespie. He brought in different guys that can recruit, have ties to the SEC or just ties around the country. But most importantly, his recruiting personnel, Courtney Morgan, his GM. I think he's kind of like the Rick Ross of Alabama football. He's doing an amazing job. Aaron Hodges, he's got a lot of Malcolm Wayne's son is like on the support staff. So he's got a lot of off the field recruiting guys who know how to evaluate talent and really know how to upgrade the roster. So kudos to that. So yeah, I want to discuss DeBoer, but like I said, we're going to jump into this shouts out to Selma, just able to say, Selma, this is where I was born. Yep, some UG fans are already crying. Yeah, a lot of people are crying because they thought Bama was going to be down and out. And speaking of Bama, listen, breaking news, ESPN said, listen, we're going to air 8A on April 13th. So all you Bama fans, listen, let's make it packed in that stadium. I mentioned earlier last week, previous episodes, how when I played at Alabama, Coach Saban's first year, we had like 93,000 in Bryant-Denny, which is crazy. So I'm hoping we can get at least 100,000 in Bryant-Denny for 8A. I mean, how exciting would that be to see that in Bryant-Denny, as well as have crazy views on television. So, yeah, let's get. I want to discuss that. Like I said, I want to start Alabama, but you guys are just rolling right now. He says the haters are going to really cry out that Alabama puts foot to their ring continually. I believe so. I think Alabama is going to make it happen. So before we get to the rest of this Alabama Coach Kalen DeBoer on the recruiting trail, let's talk about NFL free agency. And it is going crazy over the weekend. And I really want to highlight the Alabama guys. And I know Lori Caddell shouted out her Falcons in Alabama. You know, she's a big Falcons fan. I know we got a lot of Rise Up fans. I know we got 49ers fans in the chat, some Buccaneer fans. It's going crazy. But I want to discuss this because I think it's just fitting NFL right now. So the big news, which I think was good to see the importance of the running backs in the NFL, Josh Jacobs, he's no longer a Las Vegas Raider. He is going to the Green Bay Packers up there with Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur. Those guys, you know, they were so close to the getting to the NFC Championship this past year. So, you know, losing that game to the San Francisco 49ers, but I think that's going to be a good look. Also, Matt Jones, I think that was kind of the biggest news over the weekend was, especially on Sunday, Matt Jones just being traded from New England. You know, I think it's kind of bittersweet, but, you know, some, you know, Patriots fans are probably excited. Some are not. I just think Mac's talented. I think he lost his confidence, obviously, having such changeover. I don't think Belichick was in his corner towards the latter years. I think Belichick kind of messed him up, whether it's, you know, hiring Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as your offensive coordinator. Like, I don't know who does that. I mean, there's plenty of offensive coordinators, but he has the potential because he did so great his rookie year with Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator. I think he was number 2 in rookie standings, offensive rookie of the year standings, you know, second to Jamar Chase, the talent out of LSU. So Matt Jones going back home to Duval. And listen, I think this is a sneaky move. I know that Trevor Lawrence is in that same draft, and he was drafted ahead of Mac Jones. 14 picks? I think Mac Jones went 15 to New England. He was the number 1 pick, but say what you want. Trevor Lawrence has been, you know, he's been successful, but then he's kind of been He's been injured a lot. You know, they've been to the playoffs, I think, the past 2 years. But I think it might be underwhelming, to say the least, especially looking at the class that came after, the class that came before those guys. You looking at Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua, Jalen Hurts. All those guys are pretty good, and most of them kind of got big time contracts. So I think it's not going to be a pushover Trevor Lawrence. You know, they got Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's in charge now. So I think it's going to be interesting competition. I think it's great for Mac to have a new start down there in Jacksonville and really push Trevor Lawrence. I don't think Trevor Lawrence can sit on his laurels and just think, I'm still the starter. I think I think Mac's going to push Trevor. I think Trevor's going to push Mac. So I know Trevor's had some, injury issues. So I think this does make a lot of sense for for the Jacksonville Jaguars, as well as New England. So not only that, another big news, Jerry Jeudy, the big time, let's see what y'all are talking about. Let's see, Jerry Jeudy is going no longer in Denver. I don't know what the Broncos are doing, to be honest. I don't know what, they got the release Russell Wilson, and they paid him all that money. They still got to pay him almost about $38 million, and which is crazy. So I don't know. Like I said last week, I don't know how that GM George Payton still has a job, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know what's up with our chat, but anyway, like I said, Jerry Jeudy is no longer in Denver. He got drafted by the Broncos, but now he's in Cleveland Browns. Listen, Barry, the GM, was doing an amazing job there. Stefanski, who won Offensive Coach of the Year, which I thought should have went to DeMeco Ryans. I'm all about DeMeco. DeMeco should have won head coach of the year, in my opinion, because he beat Stefanski in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, I will say this, that I do think that this is going to be complimentary. Now you have two former Bama receivers, not only Bama receivers, but you have two former Alabama receivers, but two former Biletnikoff players at receiver, and I think that is very, 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 very interesting. I think that's the first time you're going to have two Biletnikoff winners from the same school in an NFL team. So I think that just gives whoever the quarterback, whether it's Joe Flacco or Deshaun Watson, a lot of fuel, because I think, me personally, Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, probably Saban era receiver, best route runners. I'm going to have to throw Amari Cooper probably number one, and Jerry Jeudy easily top three. I mean, you can make the argument for Devontae Smith, but I just think Jerry Jeudy, the way he was his routes was just, you watch his practice tape, he's just really nasty with it. So, give me your thoughts in the chat. But so we discussed Josh Jacobs, Mac Jones, Jerry Jeudy. We got some other news, but let's get to the chat. I know y'all are y'all are going in the chat. Y'all are going in about these Bama fans. Shout out to Stephen Hicks. He says, for all the nervous Nelly Bama fans that lost their way when Saban retired and the exit of all the scrubs, our Bama will be just fine. Yeah, it's just some of those Bama fans that they maybe were probably more Saban fans than anything, but they weren't true Bama fans. They weren't riding with us through the thick and thin. I think I think they're just waiting to see, but Bama fans, we bleed crimson regardless all the time. That's what we do, regardless who is out there. We just want to see those We want to see the Crimson Tide roll. So let's just able to. So let's talk about the Bama defense. So we're gonna take a pause and get you all's comments in the chat regarding the because you're all rock stars. Let's talk about Bama defense. I think Bama defense is going to be scary. I think you just look at who's in charge. Coach Kane Womack, the guy has SEC ties. He was a head coach at South Alabama. His dad was a longtime SEC defensive coordinator. But his 4-2-5, I mentioned last week how he's had conversations, meeting leading up to spring practice, having install terminology meetings with Coach Saban about twice a week. So I just think that's so beneficial for Alabama and the Crimson Tide. So I just think that's really going to help. But you look at some of the footage from week one, the first week last week. I mean, Coach Womack was doing video chats for like recruits, which was pretty cool, But just listen to his juice, his energy, his fire, his drills that he has. I think with this defense, he's one thing I love about his defense. He's going to rotate a lot of players, and I think it's going to put a lot of different situations on guys, especially on opposing offenses. You look at the 4-2-5 defense. He's got the Husky, the so many other positions, but you have a lot of leadership coming back with Deontay Lawson, Jahad Campbell in the middle. And then you got all those D linemen from, Tim Keenan, Demime, Haynes, Jaheim Otis, James Smith, who I think is going to be crazy in this defense. The reason I say Alabama's defense is going to be so probably even more dynamic because a lot of these high school teams, they probably run some type of form of the 4-2-5. So it's an easy transition for them. So guys like Quay Russaw, a lot of your interchangeable guys who can play inside, outside, you got some safety guys that are really you got some linebackers like a Justin Jefferson who can go outside and cover a tight end or something, but athletic enough to cover maybe a slot receiver and a tight end. You got a lot of safeties, different types of safeties. You can mix and match the coverage. You have them play in the box, but yet they're good enough to play on the outside, physical enough. So you can do a lot schematic-wise. I think it's going to be 4-2-5, but I think it's going to have notes of, just depending on who we oppose offensively, whether it's a heavy run team, we can go 4-3, 4, whatever, however you want. We can load up the box, 5, whatever, bare front, whatever you want to do. But I think defense is going to be scared. And the one thing I love about DeBoer's system and practice is just a lot of new energy. Like, if you're not a part of the new wave, then you're just missing out, in my opinion, because like y'all mentioned earlier, those non-true Bama fans, I just think they'll be back on the bandwagon. I think somebody mentioned it earlier, like Matt Caddell said, they weren't true Bama fans, and then Jeff Saban says yes, they were bandwagon fans. Yeah, I agree. Like, with this new wave, this new energy, this new excitement, this new kind of swagger, confidence that Coach DeBoer has, this guy knows what he's doing, and he's knowing what he's doing, know what to do to be successful, because he's been successful at where he's been, and he's got Coach Saban to be kind of an advisor. I mean, it's just a win-win situation for Alabama to really, just have their own identity. And I mentioned last week's show, Alabama's going to be beating teams without having the Saban identity, and that's not a knock on Coach Saban, but I felt like everything became Saban. You look at all the assistant coaches that came under Saban. You look at Kirby at Georgia. You look at Sark at Texas. You look at Lane at Ole Miss. You look at Billy Napier at Florida. I mean, everything became so Saban, where I thought it was, teams could game plan for us. Everybody was just using what Saban did to their program, and everybody's identity was predicated on Alabama or Saban, especially Georgia. Their whole identity is whatever Alabama does, we're doing. Like, that's their whole identity. And I feel like Now that we have DeBoer, it's like, what's Georgia's identity? Like, do they have an identity outside of Coach Saban? Now that Coach Saban's not there, what is their identity? Who are they? I think they have to kind of either create their own identity or what. Now when Alabama beats Georgia, they really have to figure out who they are, which is crazy. So that's one thing I love about having DeBoer. Not only are we going to beat you, we're going to beat you in our own style with our new coach and still be dominant and show you why Alabama's still that premier program. So roll tide roll. So y'all are rocking and rolling. Just able to say, let's go back to the NFL. He said Eric Armstead, not a Niner. Yeah, I think he he hit the free agency. He hit the free agency. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So let's take a pause in this NFL talk. Talking, I mentioned earlier Green Bay, Josh Jacobs. The importance of the running back. I'm glad to see Josh Jacobs going to Green Bay now. A lot of Green Bay Packers fans thought they were going to have a two-headed monster with Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs. They released Aaron Jones, I believe, right after the Josh Jacobs news broke. So I mentioned Mac Jones. I want to talk about other players that got big deals. I mentioned Jerry Jeudy. Xavier McKinney, no longer a New York Giants. I don't know what the Giants are doing in the front office, but I would have tried to keep Saquon Barkley first. And then I'm not letting Saquon Barkley go to your divisional rivals, which are the Philadelphia Eagles. So flying squad to all the Eagles fans out there. But yeah, Xavier McKinney, who was kind of the captain last year for the Giants, he gets a 4-year, $68 million deal with the Green Bay Packers. And now I say this, I wouldn't be surprised in the NFL draft that Kool-Aid McKinstry is a Green Bay Packer. You heard it here first, but I do think he's going to be in that division. I think that's the NFC North division, if I'm not mistaken. I do think he's going to be in that division, whether he's Green Bay or whether he's a Detroit Lion. Now, no Detroit guy. They just acquired Marcus Davis, the cornerback from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Could that maybe put a pause to Kool-Aid going to Detroit? I don't think so because they have a really talented secondary, but maybe they're going veteran leadership in that, right? So talked about Jeudy. Oh, Matt Wilson signed a 3-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals, so he got paid. So he's no longer with New England. So now that leaves us to the big free agency. Now, when I talk about big, I'm talking about probably the biggest name running back wise in the free agency, and I'm talking about the one and only former Alabama Heisman Trophy winner, Derrick Henry. Now, he's no longer in Nashville. He's no longer going to be a Titan. I know Titans fans are really sad about that because what he meant for the Nashville and the Tennessee Titans in that community. But like I tell everybody all the time, the NFL is a business. It is what have you done for me lately, and how can I get a return on my investment? And so now, Derrick Henry's done 8 years, I believe, or so with the Titans. Now he's a free agent. Now, earlier in the day, I was hearing from some guys that maybe he could be a Dallas Cowboy. And I think the winds have turned from Dallas because Tony Parler, I think, signed with the Rams or somebody, I believe. I forgot who exactly. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that one. But now Derrick Henry, I think the tea leaves are starting turning purple and black. And I'm starting to see that maybe Derrick Henry could be going to the Baltimore Ravens. That would be huge. I think he'll get a big contract. I mean, you pair him with Lamar Jackson. They got Zay Flowers on the outside, Odell Beckham. I don't know if they trade Odell. He's kind of older. They got the receiver, Bateman. They got Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely at tight end. They got a really good offensive line. I mean, I think they traded Gus Edwards, so I'm quite sure they're going to be in the running back market. But I think that would be huge. You looking at the zone RPO game with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson? Ooh. I mean, you could almost compare who's got the better RPO game. Is it the Eagles with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, or is it Lamar with Derrick Henry? I think I might have to lean Lamar with Derrick Henry. That's pretty nasty. So I wouldn't be surprised you hear any breaking news here shortly, probably before our show ends, about Derrick Henry possibly going to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm just saying that. Latest thing I saw was Lamar Jackson on IG already dancing, so maybe did he already get the news? We'll find out. But this is what we do here at Football University. We talk about it all. So another Bama player I want to talk about, I think he's up for his big contract. I think it's going to be Tua Tagovailoa is going to get the next big deal. Miami Dolphins, they traded Christian Wilkins. You know, he was due for a big deal. So I won't be surprised in the next couple of days. Maybe you see big time contract news for Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's going to get a big deal from the Miami Dolphins. So let's take a pause. Let's go to the student section. Jeff Stapleton says, Bo Scarborough retired after 23 years officially. Yes, shouts out to Bo Scarborough. A legend in the game, you know, coming from Tuscaloosa County High, running back, one of the top prospects in the country, SEC champion, playoff, national champion, USFL, Birmingham Stallions champion. I think he won 2 USFL championships. So he was just a legend in the making. So we want to give Bo Scarborough his flowers. I mean, the guy was just a stalwart, a workhorse. I think some of my favorite Bo Scarborough moments. The touchdown run versus Washington, which was bananas, when he broke like 8 tackles and stiffed arm and then cut across the field. It was an amazing touchdown. That was insane. Another one was a running when he scored. He broke like a 60-yard run versus Tennessee. And as he's going into the end zone on the sideline, he gets past the end zone. He goes straight to the Tennessee fans and he put his hand in the face. I thought that was a classic Bo Scarborough moment. Yeah, he was just always with talented running backs. So shouts out to Bo Scarborough. And I think, you know, another moment was just how he, you know, kind of reinvigorated his career with the Birmingham Stallions, bringing them a championship. I know he had that big touchdown run versus them in the championship game. And so, you know, just all he did at Alabama and the USFL. So we want to give Bo Scarborough his flowers on retirement. Hope he enjoys it. So let's stay in the student section. Thanks for that comment, Jeff Stapleton. Let's see where we're going to transition here. Oh, yeah, Joe Edwards, thank you for the comment. He says Pollard went to the Titans. So that could be sneaky news for Dallas. You know, could they be in the running back you know, sweepstakes? Now, you got to think who's on the market. Aaron Jones is no longer with Green Bay. Josh Jacobs replaced him. Saquon Barkley is with the Eagles. I don't know how that happens. That's just a division robber. I don't know why you would let that happen. Dallas, that's why I say Derrick Henry, and I think maybe Aaron Jones probably are in that candidacy for that Dallas RB position, but I don't know what Dallas. You never know what Dallas. You never know what Jerry Jones is thinking. But Tony Pollard going to the Titans, that is a huge drop off from Derrick Henry. Now I know Mike Vrabel's no longer the head coach, but yeah, we're going to talk college football. I'm going to talk Mike Vrabel, which I got some predictions on where Mike Vrabel will be next year. So, yes, Jeff Stapleton says Stallions 2-time champs for sure. Birmingham Sounds USFL, two-time champ. They're about to kick it off here shortly. I think the same weekend. For Alabama 8A, so that's going to be interesting. So, other free agency, he says the Eagles. Why Eagles offensive line stinks? I think you're talking about the Eagles. I don't know if they stink. They have just Stoutland, who's probably the best offensive line coach in the game. But shouts out to Landon Dickerson. So thank you, Jeff Stapleton. Yes, I think they kick off March 30th. Yes. So Landon Dickerson, former Alabama offensive line, was a second-round draft pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. He actually proved it. And he got an extension from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's getting a 4-year deal, $84 million. So he's another Alabama player that got paid. We know Jalen Hurts got the big contract last year. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays off. So let's stay in the NFL now. We transition from the Eagles, another flying bird that's in the NFL, to another flying bird, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. We got a lot of Falcons fans out there. Rise up. Listen, Falcons fans, how do y'all feel about Kirk Cousins? You think that's a good fit? Now, rumors, I gotta shout out my wife. She kind of broke this story last week, talking about how his wife, Kirk Cousins' wife, he already picked in a place in Atlanta. And so the tea leaves were kind of already falling. So I heard that last week, and it was confirmed this today, as Kirk Cousins signed with the Atlanta Falcons, which is crazy. I know that's him at the door right now. I'm trying to get the exact. They pay him. I think he got maybe $100 million guaranteed, which is crazy. And do you think that's a good fit, in my opinion, for the Atlanta Falcons? Him coming to Atlanta. Now, the Falcons have a number 8 pick now. I think with them going, Lori Caddell, shouts out to the Falcons fans. She's a true Falcons. Rise up. I know we got some Falcons fans out here. Now, do you think it's a good fit? And she says, rise up. And she says, I don't know if it's a good fit, but I'll take it, I guess. I mean, I think that's how most Falcons fans are. The Falcons fans are used to having like dynamic QBs. I'm talking about Vic and all them. But lately they kind of dropped the ball on the quarterback position. Now, me personally, I thought Justin Fields was probably, I think you could have got him maybe possibly cheaper. And maybe because the Chicago Bears have 2 picks, I thought that would have been a good job. I think Justin Fields probably would have been a better fit for Atlanta, the city. He's from Georgia. He's from Marietta. I think that probably would have been a better fit for the Falcons. If I'm the GM, I'm going to get Justin Fields, because the Chicago Bears are going to get Caleb Williams. I don't see them trading down from that number 1 pick this year. I think they're going after Caleb Williams, and I think that would have been ideal I would rather have Justin Fields than Kirk Cousins. But to your point, most Falcons fans are kind of up and down regarding this. James Knox, shouts out to James Knox. He said typical Falcons move. Like, it doesn't wow me. Now, Kirk Cousins, he's a solid quarterback. He'll get the job done, but he's 36 years old, and he just came off a crazy injury. Thank you guys in the chat. Joe Edwards says he's got a $180 million deal, $100 million guaranteed. Now, I think you could have got like I said, I think you could have got a younger, more talented quarterback in Justin Fields and paid lesser money than that, and probably could have traded down maybe 2 picks or so and still got a high draft pick, which I think Atlanta has the number 8 pick right now. And I think they're looking for an edge rusher to go along that defensive line with Grady Jarrett. I think Dallas Turner will be that top 10 pick, and we'll get an NFL draft here shortly. But right now, you're looking at the Falcons. I don't know if that's a wise investment. I don't know. I just don't see. I mean, I get it. I think it's a wise because of the. I'll just give you the pros first. The reason it's a good investment because it's the NFL. You need a quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league, and now you got some stability there. The cons is I don't know if that's what now they got a new coach, Arthur Smith. He had to sign off on this. Now, I don't know anything about you got a new head coach, you got a new head coach, new offensive coordinator. I don't know what they plan on. Me personally, I thought they should have went with a younger guy and build up the franchise. Now Kirk Cousins, that really just doesn't wow me. Now you have pieces. You have Drake London. You have a receiver. You got Kyle Pitts. You got Bijan Robinson at running back. Now you have weapons, and you put in a Kirk Cousins. Now, does that win you the division? I don't know if it wins you the division. Now, if you put Justin Fields there with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, then I think you really have kind of that wow factor. And I think for me, if I'm the Falcons GM, Falcons, if you need a GM, hire me. Just let me do football university every Monday. That's all I ask for. Me personally, I'm going to get Justin Fields. He's younger. He's hasn't been injured. He has more upside. I think he could be dynamic, and I think he fits Atlanta Falcons. What they want to do moving forward. You kind of have a young quarterback to move forward with. So me, I would have went Justin Fields. I would have been on the phone with the Chicago Bears and say, hey, you got the number 9 pick. What can I do to get Justin Fields? He's still on a rookie contract. You could have extended him, maybe not as much money as Kirk Cousins, but still you would have saved more money, and then probably would have been able to trade up. You only would have lost one spot, maybe a drop down of the spot to number 9, and then maybe traded maybe like a 6th-round pick for Justin Fields. I think that's what I would have done, but you never know. I would have went for Justin Fields. So Falcons fans, I mean, I know y'all are kind of happy or kind of not impressed. It is what it is. Jeff Saban says they don't call them Falcons fans dirty birds for nothing. Not you, Lord. Jeff Saban says, holy crap, that's more than Jalen Hurts got. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if I would have put that much money into a 36-year-old quarterback who just coming off a big-time injury with a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator. I think the way the game is going, you got to have some mobility. Now, I said I'm not just going to knock Kirk Cousins. He's been successful just about everywhere he's been, whether it's Washington back with Coach Gruden or with the Minnesota Vikings as of late. But I mean, he had uber talented. He had Mike O'Connor, I forget his head coach, calling the plays. He's kind of an offensive guy, so I just don't know. It doesn't. I mean, me personally, I'm just here at Football University. This is what we do. We talk ball. I give opinions. I would have went Justin Fields. That's where I would have went. So maybe it makes you think, does somebody already have Justin Fields? Is it maybe, I don't know I don't know where Justin Fields is going to end up, because I thought the Falcons would have been the ideal pick. So it's going to be interesting to see, but this is free agency. It is free agency. Joe Edwards says Caleb Williams is not worth the money. Um, yeah, I think that's why I don't know if Chicago's going to trade down from that number one pick. Now, Caleb Williams give you, everybody loves to compare him to Mahomes. I mean, he's uber talented. I just think they're going to have to put weapons around him, get him another receiver, get him some O-line protection, running game, all that good stuff. But man, Justin Fields, Atlanta, I thought that would have been that. I think that easily lets the division know we're coming for you. Now I don't know, that kind of wows you. It's kind of like a Derek Carr going to the Saints hire. Like, it's like, man, it's okay. So that's just my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents here at the final whistle. He says, "Do you think?" Kirk says Kirk Cousins is not even a fantasy starter. I have to agree with you on that. I don't, I play fantasy, and Kirk Cousins is the least of my quarterbacks to ever get when it comes to fantasy. So that just shows you how it is. Joe Stapleton has a great comment. He says, I have a question. Do you think the New England didn't know how to use Mac Jones? Yeah, I kind of addressed this earlier, but I'll go back and go over it. I feel like, yes, to your point, they did not know how to use Mac Jones. I feel like Bill Belichick kind of, after his rookie year, I feel like Bill Belichick kind of didn't make the best decision. Josh McDaniels left New England again to go be the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, and that was a dumpster fire. But in the meantime, I don't know if Bill Belichick was trying to retain continuity or guys he was familiar with, but he had two offensive coordinators. That was a red flag. Joe Judge, which was a dark red flag, and Matt Patricia. One's a defensive coach, one's a special team coach, and you put them as your offensive coordinator in the NFL. I think that just did so much to hurt Mac Jones. So to answer your question, yeah, I don't think Bill Belichick knew what he was doing, and in return, that they messed up how they handle Mac Jones. And so then year three, they drafted Bailey Zappi, and so they had Bailey Zappi, and I think in the process, Mac Jones' confidence continued to deteriorate within the organization, within the locker room, from the head coach, and then they get rid of Matt Patricia, Joe Judge this past year, and they bring in Bill O'Brien. And you thought Bill O'Brien was going to be an upgrade, but just with Mac Jones, maybe he was dealing with some injuries at time. It just was not a good fit. Even when Bailey Zappi came in towards the end, so they benched him, then they started him, they benched him towards the end of the season. It was just really, really, really bad look. So I just, like I said, I don't think New England, Bill Belichick, I don't think they knew what he was doing, and obviously he's not there anymore. They got Gerard Mayo. They Dante Hightower's the linebackers coach, which I think is a good move. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think New England. I think Belichick was just really losing it towards the end. I don't know what his decision makers. I think he was overconfident, overthinking some things, and it got him without a job. Robert Kraft decided to go in a different direction. So, yeah, I think New England did not know what they were doing, i.e. Bill Belichick, the front office. And I think they were – one thing New England's got to get out of, they got to stop trying to be this coupon book franchise. Where I say coupon book, where they're kind of trying to get discounts, trying to get players at a low rate. Like, you could do that under when you had Tom Brady back in the early 2000s and all that stuff. But now with all this money being generated and salary cap and all this stuff, you can't be trying to bargain hunt and expect to have successful teams without having such a dynamic quarterback. But the football has changed. Look at the division they're in. You got Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, The New York Jets have Aaron Rodgers. Miami Dolphins has Tua. And yet New England's trying to do this whole like rebate sale bargain hunting. You can't do that. You have to pay guys. You have to have guys want to come to New England. And it can't just be defensive linemen. You got to get top receivers. You got to get top running backs. Like you got to stop trying to do this same old type of discount model. That's not going to win you games here in the future. Like, I mean, sorry, unless you have a game changer at quarterback, then you're still the Patriots are still going to be kind of looking like the Patriots, in my opinion. But that's what we do here at Football University. I think they got to invest, make sure they get the right quarterback. Once they get the right quarterback, then on down the line, then maybe you can do the bargain hunting. But you can't be doing bargain hunting without having a top tier quarterback or top tier offensive system with your quarterback to bring guys at a lower rate. That way you can still be successful. So that's just my 2 cents. Let's stay in the 2 section. Y'all are on it. He says New England hiring Bill O'Brien was the worst mistake ever. Yeah, not only that, I think Robert Kraft, if he had to do it over again, he maybe would have made some news with made some changes with Belichick earlier. Especially, I think if I was him, I would have intervened with the whole Joe Judge, Matt Patricia. Now, I know Bill Belichick, he's the GOAT. He won 6 Super Bowls, whatever you want to say, but you still need to kind of know what he's doing. And I think Robert Kraft probably trusted him a little bit too much, too long, until it was too late. And now I think they're hurting. I don't know. They have the number 3 pick with this draft pick. If they don't get a Jane Daniels at quarterback, I know the Patriot way is to let the draft come to them, but I'm sorry, I'm going to get one of those top quarterbacks. I even think if at 3 you get Marvin Harrison, I think that could help you in the future, but you still need to put pieces around. You still need to address the quarterback. Now, I've seen a lot of mock drafts where they're saying, hey, Drake May might be there. I don't know if that moves the needle in that division, especially with the Aaron Rodgers coming back, Josh Allen and the Tua. I don't think that moves the needle, especially with the new head coach. So, listen, I think New England's got a lot of pieces they need to fill. Now, speaking of former Alabama players, Calvin Ridley, I think he will be a New England Patriot. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I think Wolf, the new GM under New England, I wouldn't be surprised if Calvin Ridley is a New England Patriot. So, yeah, I just think they got a lot of work to do. And it's not, especially with all this money the NFL is getting, like, what are you spending this money on? Like, you need to be investing in top players. And first, you need to have a good product to get players that want to come to New England. It used to be guys want to come to New England. Now it's like, I'd rather go somewhere else. I'd rather go to Miami. I'd rather go to LA. I'd rather go somewhere else, especially if they're paying. So New England got to stop being cheap. You can be smart, but you don't have to be as frugal as you want. So let's go to the student section. Bob Rutherford says, RTR, Joe Stapleton got some more Belichick talk. He said he was a candidate for DC of the Niners, dodged that bullet. Yeah, I don't know why the 49ers got rid of their defensive coordinator, Wilkes. I thought Wilkes really did an amazing job for the 49ers. I think Shanahan, I know you lost the Super Bowl, but I don't think you should have used Steve Wilkes as a scapegoat and fired him. I thought his defenses were very productive. The defense wasn't the problem, in my opinion, in the Super Bowl or all season. It was actually the offense. I mean, turn the ball over. Y'all didn't score enough touchdowns. You just can't kick field goals. Like San Francisco, Brock Purdy can only take you so far, but when you get in these big time games, and you're not playing in Levi Stadium and you're going against a true game-changing quarterback, in the words of Cam Newton, your quarterback's got to be that guy. So we're going to discuss that. But yeah, great comment right there. This is what I was saying. The 49ers, let's talk about the 49ers. The 49ers had the opportunity to get Mac Jones, and I think they got so much pressure from social media and all these things, and people were hating on Mac Jones. But if you look at Mac Jones in the Kyle Shanahan system, he would have been doing everything and more than what Brock Purdy is doing currently with the San Francisco 49ers. And to your point, Bob Rutherford, I feel like Kyle Shanahan, the front office, they dropped the ball listening to outside pressure and not taking Mac Jones at 3. And if you knew Mac Jones was going to fall, you could have traded back to like 8, 9, or 10 or 12 and got in front of New England and took Mac Jones. I mean, I just don't understand what they were thinking. If you knew, Trey Lance, yeah, he looked good. And this is the type of season people look at guys that look good in shorts or run good 40s and show athleticism, and they've been training all spring for this. Trey Lance did not have the games. He didn't go against elite competition. And yet he went number 3. And where is he? Backing up Dak Prescott at the Dallas Cowboys. So, like I said, you fell for the hype. Like you literally fell for the hype. And that's just you. And I think John Lynch is one of the best GMs in the game, but I kind of got to knock him on that whole Trey Lance pick. I thought, listen, if you were going to get Mac Jones, if he was your quarterback, shoot, Trey back down. All he had to do was get in front of, I believe, the New Orleans Saints. I think the only thing he had to do was get in front of the Saints at like 9 or 10 or something like that, and then draft Mac Jones. Or you could have kept trading down until you got Mac Jones before, 13, 12 or something like that. But then you would have been fine. But I just think, you got to have a game changer at the QB. And like I said, I don't know. It's just, I think I should be a GM, but it's neither here nor there. Y'all, I love the chat. Just Saban said, Robert Kraft rather shoot himself in the foot than hire Bill O'Brien again. Yeah, I just don't know what they were thinking Bill O'Brien, but Bill O'Brien bounced back. He's the head coach for the Boston College Eagles. Yeah, I believe that's what they are. James Knox says Tom Brady's not walking through that door. Yeah, and I think that's what the Patriots were thinking. They think they could do everything that they did in the past, and they was just slowly getting passed up by the game. So it's going to take a lot for them to get out of this hole, for sure. Let's say that he says Niners got a QB defense drop the ball in the Super Bowl. Bob, yeah, I mean, it wasn't Wilkes' job. I mean, I don't think Wilkes deserved to lose his job. I just think Shanahan was emotional, and he was just kind of playing off, losing the Super Bowl in overtime when actually the 49ers won the overtime toss. They probably should have deferred and let Kansas City get the ball first, but it wasn't Steve Wilkes' defense. It was your offense. Y'all did not score enough touchdowns. When you're playing good quarterbacks and good teams like that, you got to be able to step. When you got momentum, you have to bury them. You have to give them no life to come back, because especially a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, Spagnuolo on defense, if you give them any type of momentum, they came back and tied it up and went into overtime, and it was all downhill from there. So, like Jeff Saban said, you can't give Mahomes that much time in overtime. You went down, you took the ball first, and then kicked the field goal. Now Mahomes, all he's got to do is score a touchdown. And they went down there in 8 plays like it was nothing. So that was not Wilkes' fault. I think his defense did enough to win the game. It was the Super Bowl, 26-23 or something like that. So Roll Tide Rise Up says Roll Tide family. James Knox says Matt for Falcons OC San Fran should have traded down. Yeah, I agree. San Fran should have traded down, especially if they knew they had their guy in Mac Jones. And if you knew if they weren't going, if they thought number 3 was too high, if I'm Lynch, I'm trading down to get my guy. I think the New Orleans Saints had the number 9 pick. I think you had to trade down to get the number 8 and then make phone calls to see what New Orleans is doing. And if they're not getting a quarterback in Mac Jones, then you trade down and get in front of New England at 15. Make sure New England doesn't trade up. And that's what I would have done. That way you still look good. You could have got more assets, got more draft picks. You could have looked at teams who's looking to trade up and still got your guys. So that's just my 2 cents. Joe Edwards, Mahomes the next Brady. I mean, you got to give him his props. This guy's won 3 Super Bowls, and he's only, 28? He hadn't even hit 30 yet. So you look at he probably get one next year. You're looking at the Chiefs. They'll probably get more weapons offensively, more weapons offensive line, probably help him in the backfield. Defense ain't going nowhere. They just signed Chris Jones, who's one of the top defensive linemen in the league. He's vital. They retained Spagnolia. Their whole staff's coming back. So listen, Mahomes. I don't know if Mahomes is going to get 6 Super Bowl. I'm gonna give Mahomes 5 Super Bowls. I think he gets 5 Super Bowls. That's just my 2 cents. He says Boston College will suck this year. They will, because we know who's the head coach, and we mentioned him earlier. Bill O'Brien. Now, I would give Bill O'Brien this. I'm not going to be all the way negative. I do think he's learned so much. Now, he was successful at Penn State he got Penn State back, but then I don't know what happened. He either got the boot, or no, he went to Houston. He took the job at the Houston Texans, and he was the GM too. You don't do that, not with Bill O'Brien. Now, Bill O'Brien thinks the offensive genius. I just don't think he's going to have the talent that he thinks he's going to get there. So, and I heard he hired who was our offensive line coach who was before Coach Wolf, who was just Doug Marrone as like an analyst. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know. I would have went in another direction. I think it's so many coaches out there you can get that will want to be a head coach. But he got the head coach job. So Joe Stapleton says, thank you for these. He says 26-23 in the Super Bowl. Yeah. That's if you could tell me you could hold the Kansas City Chiefs to 20 points going into overtime, I would say, listen, all thing I got to do is score 24 points. I'll win the Super Bowl. That, to me, I think Kyle Shanahan, that was not on Steve Wilkes. That was on you offensively, Shanahan. Rutherford says, yeah, Josh Jacobs left my Raiders. Yeah, I know. Raiders making some good defensive news. Now, they have the number 13 pick. I don't know if they go for a Terry Arnold there or whatnot. So it's going to be interesting. You got some teams that are in front of them that need a quarterback. I heard I don't know if Gardner Minshew's a Raider or not. I don't know if that's true or not. It's going to be interesting to see how this quarterback free agency frenzy is going to pay off. But this is what we do here at Football University. We are here for it. Jeff Stapleton says Travis Kelce is a beast. Had way too much space to catch the ball. I think, listen, you're looking at the creativity of Andy Reid and some of these, even Kyle Shanahan getting balls and playmakers. I think that's what you're going to get. Bring it back to Alabama, make it relative to Alabama. I think that's what you're going to get under Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, the creativity, utilizing all the weapons. Somebody mentioned Caleb Odom. You look at our receiving core. I think Caleb Odom is the ultimate chess piece and I'm thinking it was a great, awesome move that they let him know that he's the receiver, because that's now you can really get some mismatches. You can really get creative and having him as the ultimate chess piece offensively. You can move him, put him as a 3-down lineman, put him in the tight end sets, putting him mismatched with linebackers and safeties, but he has receiver abilities, and it's just so much you can do offensively. I think another ultimate chess piece that's on Alabama's team is Keon Keeley. I think they had him working with the outside linebackers. I forgot what's the new position that they call it in this 4-2-5 Kane Womack's defense, but now they had him working with some of the D linemen. So it's going to be a lot of creativity, a lot of multiplicity, a lot of different variables to kind of confuse opponents, keep them on their heels as well as just get a lot of guys experience. So I'm so excited about that. So shouts out to the student section. He said even the squirrel finds out sometimes Bill O'Brien is the coach or OSC. Listen, I don't know what it is. Listen, he keeps finding jobs. So yeah, like I said, Joe Stapleton, yeah, Caleb Odom can go toe to toe with anybody. I think he's going to be that ultimate chess piece offensively. I think we're going to be so creative. And I know fans of Football University, Joe Stapleton and Hicks, listen, I've been talking about creativity for the past year or so. And I think not only Alabama get younger with the head coach, we've got somebody that's really uber creative and is going to utilize all these talents. Is going to have us running like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Maserati offensively. So I know Alabama football is on spring break this week, so I believe it's no practice. So I think they'll pick back up next week. But yeah, it's exciting. DeBoer is rolling, Alabama's rolling. I'm excited to see. Got some big time recruiting news, I believe, coming here shortly. More, be on the lookout for the more free agents news. We're going to talk it here at Football University. Thank you for tuning in to all the student section. Bob Rutherford, Jeff Stapleton, Lori Caddell, James Knox, Joe Edwards, Roll Tide, No Rise Up, sorry, excuse me, Stephen Hicks, all you amazing fans, thank you. Tell somebody, turn in next week, same time, same channel here on the CTS-Sports channel with Football University with me, Matt Caddell. I love you all. Have a great and amazing weekend. Go get it this week, and I enjoy football, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Have a good one. Peace.